Hey friends, Diana here. Welcome to Tuesday's tip. And yes, this week I'm actually doing it on Tuesday. Um, so we are into the first week of July, and I know so many of you are thinking about holidays, vacations, and that is great. But I want you to pause for a moment, and I'm going to ask you this question. Did you do some quarterly planning, or have you done some quarterly planning? Uh, because June, we're halfway through the year. And whether or not you like it, the question is, have you hit your goals for the year? Or maybe you're not exactly where you want to be. And when I talk about goals, what were the goals that you set for the new year? Was it profit based? Was it revenue based? If you're a real estate investor, maybe it was the number of doors, but it's still based on profit. I have to tell you, it's all about, the money. So if you didn't hit those goals that you set, what are you going to kind of do about it? Are you going to try to change the goals, or are you going to try to change the actions to achieve those goals? And the thing is that whichever you are going to do requires a plan, a framework, a strategy. And so I want to share with you a something called the 3P formula for creating your quarterly plan. Okay, 3Ps. Here we go. The first P is you've got to look in the rear view mirror and you've got to look at the past. That's right. You've got to look at the past. And you've got to look at, you've got to evaluate what happened um, in relation to achieving those goals. So, this may not resonate with you, but when I owned my retail store, every month there was a sales goal and for each of the employees, and every day there was a sales goal. And the reason being is that, and we would mark it on the calendar. And there was something else that we would mark on the calendar. We, in retail, very dependent on the weather, especially where I lived. So if we had a major snowstorm, because we're here in Canada, we knew that we weren't going to have the same traffic that we would have without a snowstorm. Or if it was a super beautiful day in the spring, we knew we still wouldn't have the same traffic because people were out in their yards doing yard work. And so we looked at the past in light of the weather. For us, weather was the big thing. Okay. So if you're hosting large events as your conversion event, for instance, what happened at that event? Did you have the right people in the room? Who were those people, et cetera, et cetera. So you've got to really look at the past and analyze it with respect to data. So that's the first P. The second P is, you've got to have a plan, right? And you have to have a plan in terms of how you expect to reach each one of your goals. And so that plan is still, you need to look at data. Too many entrepreneurs, too many business owners that I know aren't looking at their financial statements. They're not reviewing even, how many people signed up for their lead magnet. Who are those people? They haven't looked at their email. What is their average open rate? What is their conversion rate? Do you know these things? And so that is the data in your plan. Okay. And when you look at your plan and you look at that data, you also get a hint of what you need to double down on. So what's working is what you double down on. And what isn't working, maybe you consider letting go. So a couple of years ago, when my husband retired, there's a podcast episode actually about this. I looked at my business and I said, so if I want to spend more time with my husband since he's retired, and I still want to make the same amount of money, what is it that I have to do? And I realized that I had to let go of something. And at that time, I let go of my group program because my private coaching was where I was making the money. So I had to let go of the private and I had to double down on, sorry, I had to let go of the group and double down on the private. So that was the plan. Okay. And the third P is, looking at your projections, taking the data that you have, looking at what the plan is, and actually projecting based on data where you're going. And when you have these three P's in place in your plan, in your quarterly planning, in your annual planning, you actually get something that is not arbitrary. It's not based on guesses, but it's based on facts. It's based on data. And that's the thing that I'd like you to keep in mind. So there you go. There you have it. And just before I leave, I want to share, you can see behind me here, the word scale. And because so many people come to me and they say, I want to take my business to the next level. I want to grow my business. And there's really some confusion between the words scale and grow. And this acronym scale, so the S is start with the foundational elements. And this is every single time I am talking to a prospective client is we look at the foundational elements. What do they have in place? And we actually walk through what I call my grow success calculator. Okay. And so the foundational elements are, what is in the authority visibility blueprint? What does the profit plan look like? And what does the freedom plan look like? Okay. Then the C is about clearly communicating your message and really drilling down on how you communicate this, what type of marketing are you using. The A is about accelerating actions. It's about taking action. Are you consistent with your action? And then the L, which is what I talked a little bit about before, is letting go of what's not working. Simple as that. And the E is elevate what is working. And every single time when we go through this, when we follow this strategy, clients have amazing, amazing results, right? Joy, profit, freedom. So I started out talking about planning. Yep, it is not too late to sit down with your plan for the year that you had. Go through the three P's, the past. So look in the rear view mirror. The plan, what was the actual plan of how you were going to get there? And number three was based on projecting it forward. So the three P's. So thanks so much for listening. And, if you're interested in finding out more about what I do and these videos, Tuesday's tip, because there's a whole series of them, head over to my YouTube channel. You can subscribe there. And every Tuesday, I go live with a tip to help you take your business from 6 figures to 7 or multiple 7. Thanks so much. Take care. Have a fabulous, fabulous day. Bye for now.